Oh, it's that time. You'll have to go through hearing that. Boop, boop. Hold on. Because y'all are going to hear my, okay. Why should we dispute on paper and not on the internet? Okay, I'll tell you, Divana. Hold on. Okay, cool. So that audio stopped. I don't know if y'all could hear that, but that's my audio to tell me to end my day. And so I had to let that play out first. I love Kendra's single show for this. This is more important. Oh my gosh. That makes me feel so great that you wanted to tune in. So let's get right into it. I don't want to waste anybody's time because it's late. First of all, I want to apologize to y'all. I have not been on Instagram for like 2 days. I had really, really bad sinus problems. Like this whole side of my face was just throbbing for 2 days. It didn't matter what I took. So I just took the time to not create any content and just kind of let that work itself out. Okay, so y'all, Equifax has been sued because they've been messing up people's credit scores. Now, if you noticed between March 17th and April 6th that there were like some shifts in your credit and you weren't really understanding why Experian was looking good, TransUnion was looking good, but Equifax was struggling. Well, they had a coding issue. And so the coding issue, right? Somebody messed up in the back end. Let's just keep it a buck. Somebody messed up in the back end and they want to call it a coding issue. And so what ended up happening was people's credit scores were negatively affected by this. So they were putting things in the system incorrectly. And so even if you were making your payments on time, even if you were staying up to date on your stuff, whatever they were inputting into the system was throwing off what people's scores look like, how they were reflected. And so the reason why this whole lawsuit came about was over someone by the name of Jenkins. And thank God sis was on top of her stuff, because who knows how many people this has happened to before this lawsuit came out, right? So what happened was, okay, so Jenkins went to go get a car. She was like, I need a new car. She knew that she was pre-approved. The car loan was supposed to be for $350 a month. Okay. And so she was like, okay, that fits within my budget. I'm good with that. But when she went to go get the car, they ran her credit. And when they ran her credit, she was denied. So now she's confused because she's like, hold on, we did the pre-approval. My credit was already good and all of this. Now, although we know pre-approval doesn't mean you'll necessarily 100% be approved. However, she shouldn't have been denied based off of the reasons that she was denied. So she went to another dealership. And at this other dealership, she found out that instead of paying $350 a month for the same vehicle, she would actually be paying $272 every 2 weeks for the exact same car. That is an additional $2,365 more per year on that car. So she's trying to figure out, okay, well, what's going on? Because I'm going by what's on my credit. And she started digging and she did her due diligence. And that's when she found out that Equifax messed up. So when I was in here and I was reading this, they said this could have happened to millions of people. But because most people do not go over their credit information, because most people are not staying on top of it, and they're utilizing Credit Karma as their only means for staying on top of their credit, they wouldn't have noticed this. And y'all, I'm going to go over some other things with you outside of just this lawsuit, because I want you to have the correct things that you need when you are going over your personal credit score. So I talked to you about using annualcreditreport.com. I talked to you about using IdentityQ. So IdentityQ would alert you for those types of shifts in your credit, right? If your credit score is dropping by 20, 30, 40 points, they're going to alert you why this happened so you can be on top of it immediately. Now, I don't know if she had Identity IQ in place that let her know this was the type of shift that was going on and that she needed to go and check it out. But if you have that, you'll have that alert put in place. If you have annual credit report. Now, annual credit report is a resource that is provided to all consumers that allows us to check in with all 3 major credit reporting agencies. That's Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And so what this empowers us to do is to print out our reports once a year for free. And we can comb through these reports and just check and see, okay, is this the correct information? Is this something that I should be disputing? Are there some errors here? Now, because of the pandemic, we were actually able to pull this report every 7 days. So really, there should be no reason why we're not on top of this, okay? I remember having to wait a year to pull these reports without paying somebody, but now we can do it every single week. So make sure that you're going to go pull that. And the website for that, if you're not familiar, is annualcreditreport.com. You can get all 3 bureaus for free. You can download the PDFs of them. Now, so I saw somebody ask, why should you not be disputing? Yep. So Identity IQ is a monthly fee. I'm sorry, I didn't mention that. Identity IQ is a monthly fee, but they are allowing you to really stay on top of your credit. So if you're in a space to where you're trying to purchase a home or you got some major purchases like a car coming up, having that as a resource is really beneficial towards you so that you can have, just have eagle eyes on your credit, real true eagle eyes. Credit Karma is not a good platform to use to monitor your credit. Y'all have to understand something. Credit Karma is free, and 9 times out of 10 when it's free, you then become the product. So when you see these things where they're saying you've been pre-approved for this $10,000 loan from One Main Financial, or you've been pre-approved for, this personal loan from, what is it, like just one or something like that. Y'all, if your credit score is 500, there's no reason why you should be getting pre-approved for $10,000 personal loans. What they are doing is they are shopping essentially you to these other business owners who want you to apply to get loans there, because 9 times out of 10 they have high annual percentage rates attached to those loans. So One Main Financial, I don't like it just as much as I don't like Robinhood. And the reason being is because I have plenty of clients that come to me who get those $10,000 personal loans because they're in a funky situation. And they say, oh, well, Credit Karma said that I would get approved. Y'all, they're paying Credit Karma to be on their platform to be able to market to you. So when they got this personal loan, their payments were like $392 a month. So I know that this person was paying this for 11 months. It was like $390 something. They're paying this for 11 months. They paid over $4,000 towards that personal loan in a year, and only 175 of that 4,000 actually went to principal. That means the rest of it all went into interest. So you have to be very careful when you're on platforms like Credit Karma. They're cool to have your Vantage Point score, to just kind of look over it, say, okay, all right, whatever. But if you want a true look into how your credit is performing, you need to start looking at Identity IQ. You need to start pulling up your actual report from annualcreditreport.com. And you can do that on a weekly basis. So when y'all get off this call, if y'all don't do nothing else, go pull up your report. The ladies in the community, I'm going to drop all these resources in there for y'all. And then also this checklist that I'm getting ready to go over. Okay. So that's one of the reasons why I can't stand Credit Karma. Another reason, I think the question was, why should you not dispute online? Okay, perfect. So gosh, every time I get excited, my nose runs. I cannot stand my sinuses. I have got to get that worked out. So, the reason why you should not dispute anything online is because 9 times out of 10, you're not reading the terms and conditions and the fine print that's attached to what you're disputing online. So when you're going through and you're checking off stuff and you're saying not my debt and you're saying all this, sometimes that fine print is saying that you're accepting acknowledgement of the debt. So you have to be careful of that when you're just trying to click through. Now, when you are disputing it through letter, here's the thing. You have physical proof that you have disputed this thing via mail, and that then puts them on the clock. There are systems that will go through and run through online disputes because it is done through the computer. So what do you think is going to check to see if that is your debt or not? A computer. Now, when you send a letter in, it takes them time to go through that. And it takes them, they have 30 to 45 days to actually go through that to identify that this is your debt. Now, whether it's your debt or not is not your job to acknowledge. It's their job to prove that you are the debtor to the debt. Okay, so never just acknowledge something. Even you'd be like, you know what, I probably did that when I was 19. Let them prove it because the debt was already sold to the creditors. So let them prove all that. Let them work that out. Your only job is to make sure that you're doing your due diligence, and that's filling out the paperwork and getting that paperwork mailed in. You want to make sure that it's time stamped and dated. And when you do that, you now have record to say, I've done this within this time frame. So if it goes over this 30 to 45 day period that y'all have to go over this, then, and you don't have a response for me and you haven't mailed me a response to prove to me that this is my debt, then you have to remove it and you have physical proof of what you've done. But 9 times out of 10, when you're disputing things online, the issue is that number one, you're probably accepting the debt and don't know it. And then number two, you are allowing a computer system to verify that this is your debt. You don't want that. Okay. And then also when you're sending in these letters, you want to make sure that the verbiage that you're saying is not one of these like, oh, I got this dispute letter that 30,000 other people use to dispute their debt, right? You want to make sure that it's specific to your personal situation, and you want to make sure that you're taking your time and really writing that out. So what I wanted to go over with y'all is a checklist of what you can be doing when you need to dispute things over your credit. So we're going to go over a credit report review checklist. Y'all want to do that? I see the comments, y'all. I know I can't. I see the comments. I'm gonna address the comments in a second, but I want to make sure I'm giving you the value first, and then I'll go back and I'll answer the questions. Okay, sis? Adrian on YouTube said coding issue. Right. I know. Oh my gosh. Okay, so y'all make sure you have pen and paper. Y'all know I come with the resources. All right, so let's talk about it. Your credit report review checklist. Now let me go ahead and for those of you who are streaming, here's the article itself. Let's see. Here's the article itself. Equifax being sued over erroneous credit scores sent for millions by Americans. Okay, so just keep a lookout for that. You may be entitled, if we're part of it. If there was, so you actually may be entitled to some sort of compensation. If you were applying for something during those dates between March 17th and April the 6th, and you were denied based upon whatever Equifax credit score was, you may be entitled to some compensation from this lawsuit. So keep an eye out for that. Maybe you're trying to purchase a vehicle or you're trying to purchase a home, get into an apartment, something like that, and Equifax's credit score messed you up. You may be entitled to something. So that's good news. Okay, so let's go over this credit report checklist. And I'm going to change what I'm sharing on YouTube. Let me change my screen real quick. I'm going to share this with y'all so y'all can pull these. This is just a resource that I found online here. Okay, there we go. Credit report review checklist. So here are some things you want to look at. Okay, y'all take out your pens and papers. Okay, is your name correct? Now, it may not seem like that big of a deal, but there's little things on your credit that will really kind of just nudge your credit in the right or wrong direction. So you want to make sure that you've crossed your T's and dotted your I's, because at the end of the day, you are personally responsible for how your credit looks. And there's many factors to your credit score. We know that, but things like this matter. You want to make sure that your name is spelled correctly. For the longest, my name was not spelled correctly. The way my mother raised me versus what was actually on my social security card and my birth certificate, there was a tweak in how my first name was spelled. And so I had to go by, when I found out like as an adult, I had to go by what it was actually spelled as on my documents. And so is your name spelled correctly? Is your social security number correct? Okay. Is your address correct? So you may have addresses on your credit report from 15, 20 years ago. They don't need to go on there. And if you recently moved from out of an apartment complex and now you got into a new permanent address, you need to make sure that those old addresses are off of your report. Okay. And your phone number, you can have, if you've had 6 or 7 different phone numbers over the past 10 years, you want to make sure that all those other numbers are erased and you only have your current number to date on your report. Okay. Are there previous addresses that may have been listed for you? And if there are they correct? Okay. Is your marital status listed correctly? Is the employment history listed correctly? And you'd be surprised, y'all, if you know, this is so bad. Double check this, okay? Your employment history, because if you know any entrepreneurs, there are some people who will list you as an employee and you have no idea you've been listed as an employee. So just double check that one and make sure that your cousin who's the entrepreneur didn't list you as an employee because he got some tax stuff going on and he needed some employees to list. And now you pull up your credit report and you're like, why am I listed as an employee to Roscoe's tire shop when I never worked at Roscoe's tire shop? So just make sure you're keeping an eye on that, okay? Is everything listed in the personal information section correct? Right? And is there anything listed in the public record information? Is that correct? Highlight the information you think that may not be correct. Okay. Review each item under the credit accounts section. Are the accounts on that list still open? So any type of trade account. So you know that they say you should have trade lines. You should have this things on your credit that will help you boost your credit. You have to be very careful with that, because some of those companies will actually help you with improving your credit score, right? Say, oh, I have a trade line with this jeweler company. I pay them $19.99 a month for a reflection of an open credit line of $12,000. Because it's a true jeweler company, I'm just not buying any jewelry. I'm just paying for the membership, but it's reflecting on my credit. If they're actually reporting, that's good. But if they're not reporting and you're paying them on a monthly basis and you see this on there, you need to make sure that you're getting that type of stuff pulled off. Okay. Are all of the current balances correct? Are accounts where you are an authorized user or joint owner listed? Double check that. Some of y'all may have been in relationships that didn't work out, and you forgot that you were an authorized user on somebody's account, or you forgot they were authorized user on yours, or you forgot you were a joint owner. And so now you've got things sitting on there that you may have forgotten about that you were on. So you want to double check that and see where you may be listed as somebody's joint owner or authorized user. Okay, because authorized users are good, but authorized users are only good if the person who is the main account holder is responsible. So if you got people on your credit card with the idea of I'm helping them because they're authorized user on my account, if you're not being responsible with that account, you're doing nothing but hurting yourself and them. If you are an authorized user on somebody else's account, you better make sure that they're doing what they need to do, especially given what's going on in the economy, because consumer credit card debt has increased drastically over the past year because of inflation, because of COVID. Okay. And now we have the recession. So you might want to start making some phone calls if you're an authorized user on somebody's account and just say, like, hey, I just wanted to check how's utilization. Do I need to come off of this account? I know we're in hard times. Like, it's okay, because when you needed to be on their account, they were willing to have you on their account. So it's okay for you to kind of ask those questions. And they may tell you, like, hey, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and pull you off, because I don't want to cause any type of damage to your record, because I do got some stuff going on right now. So just don't make assumptions in that space if you are an authorized user trying to build your credit. Okay. Are zero balance records for debts discharged in bankruptcy? For debts paid in full. So that's, let me answer. Are zero balances recorded for debts discharged in bankruptcy or for debts paid in full? So you want to make sure that those are zeroed out. And if they're not zeroed out, then you have some work to do. Okay. Are you listed as a co-signer for a loan? I hope y'all are looking at me. Please never do this. I think I made a reel on this a year or so ago. Do not ever co-sign on anything for anyone, not your sister, brother, mother, cousin, nephew, auntie, best friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, nobody, daughter, son, nobody. Do not co-sign on anything for anyone, because at the end of the day, what they fail to do falls on you. That has nothing to do with love. That has nothing to do with anything except for what the numbers say. And if they needed a co-signer, chances are that should let you know that that's a red flag to start with. Because why you need a co-signer? What were you not doing right with your money to where you need a co-signer? And that's not to say, okay, well, does that mean that people don't deserve a chance? No, what it means is that delayed is not denied. Nah, I can't be a co-signer, but I will work with you to help you get your stuff in order so you can get what you need. Remember, delayed is not denied. Just because you tell somebody no does not mean you don't have to help them to get them where they need to be so they can get what they need on their own. But you don't want to ever put your financial situation, your credit score in a position to where it can be compromised because somebody else was not doing what they needed to do. Don't do it. Okay. I did it a long time ago. That's why I'm telling y'all, don't do it. Okay. All right. Are accounts that you closed listed as closed by the consumer? Okay, so you want to make sure, check on that, see if you have anything that's listed as closed by the consumer. Is negative information reported on each credit account correct? Look for late payments and missed payments. Highlight those items you think are not correct. Okay, are any accounts listed more than once? If anything is listed more than once, that's just hurting you more. So you want to make sure that you're highlighting, saying like, nope, this is already listed on here twice. I need to make sure that they pull this off, because if you only wanted to hurt you one time, we don't want double things knocking us down. Okay. Let's see. Check to make sure that the same account is not listed multiple times in the collection section. Is old negative information still being reported? If yes, Highlight the information that has exceeded the negative information reporting limit, which is usually 7 years. If there's something that's reporting on your credit longer than 7 years, with the exception of bankruptcy, because that's on there for 10, you need to make sure you're taking note of that. Send that written letter, tell them that it needs to be removed because it's been past 7 years. Now, what you may notice is that it may fall off and then another company will report it, right? Because they'll buy out the debt and then they'll start reporting it. So I know that there's certain companies that will help you get things removed off of your credit for good, but just keep an eye out on that. If you see that it's hit that 7-year mark or 8th year mark and it's still on there, get that letter filled out and get it removed. Then at that point, if it is removed, now if a new company buys it out, you can submit that letter and say, nope, this was supposed to be removed. It was on there longer than 8 years. I don't care if another company bought this out. It needs to be removed. Do you suspect that you've been the victim of identity theft after reviewing your credit reports? So you may see some stuff on there where you're just like, I didn't do this. This happens all the time with elders. All of the time with elders. I saw this so many times when I was a banker. They get their information compromised. They're picking up those phone calls and they're like, I'm so-and-so with AT&T. We need to verify X, Y, and Z. And then there they go giving all their information and not knowing that it's a scammer on the other end. If you feel as though you've been a victim of identity theft, you need to freeze everything. You need to file a report. Do not play reindeer games when it comes to that, okay? Because those people will sit up there and run you for rags. So make sure that you take care of that. All right. So the 3 bureaus, y'all, the 3 reporting agencies is Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. You want to make sure that you have written letters that are going out to them. And if you need their information, the address of where to send these letters, they are on the report. So once you go to annualcreditreport.com, print out those reports. You're going to need a lot of paper. Make sure you got some fresh ink or going down to, no, don't go to Staples. You can download the PDFs and go print them out yourself. But if you have a printer at home, do that. You can go to the bank and print out your reports. If you sit with the banker, just let them know, hey, I'm working on my credit. Is it okay if I print out my reports? 9 times out of 10, they will let you do it, depending on if you have a good relationship with that banker. But get these reports filled out, get you some highlighters, start marking things off. If you want this checklist, this is just a resource that I found online that I was going over with you. But the ladies in my community, they've got resources out the wazoo. The book that I'm reading today, Good to Great, I just put this free PDF in there for them. They've got checklists, credit checklists. They've got coursework. They've got dispute letters, all of that. So if you're not a part of the community, I definitely encourage you to do that, y'all. It's only $30 a month, but you get so much. And then we're actually having a credit workshop. Not this coming Monday. This coming Monday, we have someone coming in talking about breaking mental barriers. But the following Monday, we have our credit specialist who went from living on her mom's sofa, paycheck to paycheck. She went through my program 2 years ago. Now she owns her own home. Her kids have investment portfolios. She's thriving and she is now a credit specialist. So I'm excited for her to go through and give you guys the resources that help her go from living on her mom's sofa to having her own home and positioning her credit to do that. So that's pretty awesome. But I hope y'all enjoyed the talk today. Let me go through these comments. Okay. Let me go through these comments. Hold on. Oh, there's so many people that are tuned in online. Hey, y'all. Hey, onliners. Okay, let me see. Let's go back. Okay, let me check on this here. And also, y'all, thank you so much to everyone who has purchased the book. I literally sent off like 40 copies the day before yesterday. These are the copies that I have left. If y'all see those, it's only a few of them. I think I got maybe like 12, maybe 7. It's maybe like 12 copies left. So if you wanted a copy, purchase it. I'll get it packaged, sent out tonight or sent out in the morning, and I'll make sure I sign them. That's absolutely ridiculous. Yes. Okay, you guys, thanks. And make sure that if you're logging off, you guys, make sure that you turn your post notifications on, because on Instagram, I do not save my lives at all. I come on live, I give you additional supportive value from the reel that I share, and then I hop off. The people in the private community, they're the ones, the people in the private community, they're the ones who have all of the recordings. I saved that for them so they can go back and watch it. Okay, let me see here. Okay, used to have constant sinus infections, but since using nail med, that doesn't work for me. I probably have to have surgery. I know I talked to a few people about my sinuses, and I'm more than likely going to have surgery. So the thing with my sinuses, y'all, is most allergy medicine makes my nose bleed. I know a lot of you guys are trying to give. I appreciate you, but it's a fight. Okay. Equifax never allows me to access my report on annual credit report. I don't know why. You know what I'll do, Karen? I will do a walkthrough with blocking out my personal information. So y'all know how I did the student loan one when we did the borrower's defense application. Y'all really liked that and found that helpful. So what I can do is when I go into annualcreditreport.com, I'll do another walkthrough of that on how to pull all of your reports for free on a weekly basis. And I'll just block out my personal information so that way you know how to get through there. Okay. I'll do that. Let me say goodbye to my live streamers and I'm gonna come hang out with y'all on Instagram. Okay. All right. So YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Please let me know in the comments if you found this helpful. I'll check you guys out next time. I post a reel, but make sure you follow me on Instagram because that's where I post a lot of the resources and all of that fun stuff. So until next time, guys, I will see y'all later.